What's up guys, I'm Steve. Welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to another video. If it's your first time stopping by the channel, hit that subscribe button. Trust me, you won't regret it. If you're a returning subscriber, as always, I welcome you back and I appreciate the support. Guys, let me tell you something that's sad and it's shocking. And a lot of people don't know the ramifications of this in this trial, the Tyre Nichols trial. But what I'm about to say to you guys, it's messed up. Now today, like I said in my other video, they had a city council meeting about the beating of Tyre Nichols. And among the things they talked about was police reform and getting back the public trust. Like I said, how can you get the public trust back when you got people like CJ Cyrilline Davis, the chief of police, who organized a lot of this BS, and she ain't got no right in her. She wrong just as everybody else. The Scorpion unit was what she built up. But check this out. Also speaking at that city council meeting was this lady right here. And her name is Gina Sweat. Now, Gina Sweat is the Memphis Fire Chief, or I guess I ain't gonna say Chief of Fire, but she's the top dog in firefighters in the city of Memphis. And she is the one that fired the EMTs and the other firefighters that were on scene that didn't seem to render aid to Tyre Nichols. Now, this is the part that's crazy and striking to me. Going back to the video, right? Let me just say this real fast. Going back to the video, Tyre was sitting there, and you've seen all of the guys, the EMTs coming up, looking at him. Everybody's like, why nobody rendering aid? Look at the twist, guys. Today, in a heated discussion, because they said it got heated today in city council. Now, they didn't show that in the news report, but they said it got heated. A lot of people are passing the buck backward and forward in this thing. In terms of who should be accountable, who should be responsible over Tyre Nichols' death, and who should take the blame or the brunt of the blame. Now check it out. Gina Smith, the Memphis Fire Chief, said when they got the call was for a mace mace sprayed to the face. Now you might say, well, what is that? What does that mean? Who got sprayed in the face while they were trying to spray Tyre? The officers, the 5 officers, 3 of the 5 officers. The dumbass fat dude, bald head dude that sprayed himself in the face and sprayed the other 2 that was holding him. Remember? When they made the 911 call, it wasn't made for him. It was made for them. So when the EMTs came up and they were standing there wiping their face and already they started talking with the EMTs, he wasn't the center of the 911 call. It was never about him. It was about them. It was about them. They were so worried about when they made the call in for the EMT. That wasn't because they was beating him. It was because they wanted to get the mace off their face. And rightly so, they wouldn't call it for him anyway because they the ones doing the destruction to him. You see the game? That's a damn shame they did this man like that. And that right there is going to be up in the courtroom. And them 5 dudes going to really look stupid. Now, the one that sprayed the mace, right? What's his name? Desmond Mills or whatever? Sprayed the mace, and the other 2 that was holding him, all this lost time when they called the police for them, ain't nobody rendered aid on Tyre, because he was sitting there and they kept looking at him. But the thing that's funny is this: the reason why all those EMTs I think got fired was this. With the mace and all that stuff on the face, and they called and they was tending to the cops and talking to the cops and all that stuff, and they was off in the distance except the one dude that kept going back and forth. I think it hit them late when they flashed the light on and like really looked at him like, I think he fell over too. They was like, oh shit. And then they ran over there and rendered aid to him. I think if the cops had called and aid was administered to him faster, I don't know if it would have helped because the trauma was already there, but I think it would have saved their jobs. I think a lot of times these EMTs, when they go places and they get calls out, they see the same cops, especially because they're working on the same shifts. And usually it's a routine thing. And I think they didn't see that time was of the essence with him needing urgent care until it was too late, until they really stopped and looked at him because they was thinking it was a normal routine night. Another thing about the call that's messed up, like I said, they called 911 and they called EMS for themselves because they got sprayed in the face, right? The part that's sad about this whole thing is when they called, they didn't say it was a big deal. Like, you know, like when you call, they'll say, you know, what's the level of the, you know, the medical emergency. And they didn't say nothing about it being severe. Oh, it's just mace in the face. So imagine the time they took getting to that on the scene. That's a damn shame. They tried to cover it up, but still act like they was offering aid to him. Honestly, guys, man, between me and you, I think, and this is just me talking, I mean, and I'm going to take the emotion out of it. Them wanting to kill him, honestly, I don't think that was the aim. They just wanted to beat him up real bad, but they got carried away and didn't know how much trauma they inflicted on that boy. I think they was going to pick him up, put him in the car, and then drop him off somewhere like they used to do back in the day. And that's just me. You know, don't be mad at me. I'm just going by the way I think about it, because they beat him up and then they left him there. They didn't throw him in the car. They could have thrown him in the car when the EMTs came. They could have cuffed him and threw him in the car. The EMTs would have never seen him. They left him out there. So I think that they just thought they beat the hell out of him, taught him a lesson, was going to throw him in the car, and then take him somewhere and drop him off. You know what I'm saying? And I think that it backfired on them. You know, they have to have EMTs on the scene in case something ever goes awry. You know, criminals ain't that smart. They don't think things through. Oh, it was EMTs out there. Oh, they looked at him. But you understand what I'm saying? Then another thing is this. They already knew they did bad, because when he got to the hospital and they knew he was in real bad shape, you know, the doctors asked questions, hey, what happened to this man? Who did this to him? You know, the police all up in there trying to shh with the doctors. Hey, he was strong. You know, they was making up all lies. Oh, he's strong. He high. We couldn't get him on the ground. You heard the BS? When they get in the hospital, they do what? Because you know some of them Scorpion team members went to the hospital because they got to keep the story straight. And they go in the hospital, all of a sudden what? Tyre's parents can't come see him. Why? Because he looked like shit. And they would have knew but the family smelt the cover up already. So it's like they couldn't cover up the lie enough. But to sit there and say, oh, it's not a real bad emergency. We just need somebody. We had a call of we're sprayed in the face with mace. Ain't no ambulance driver gonna race and do all that crazy stuff for a mace call. Because they encountered that all the way. All that precious time to get this man the aid he needed, they never did it. And then when he got there, it was too much delays, and now the man is gone. That's a heartbreaking story. And it's a heartbreaking, the action these dudes did to that boy. And you're supposed to be authorities of law and order. I hope these dudes get boiled alive in oil. It's a damn shame that they did that to this boy. The fire chief told it though. She said, look, when we got the call, we said it wasn't, we heard it, we got the idea it was nothing severe. We wasn't told it was a severe call. It's just called a spray of mace to the face. It's a damn shame, man. Damn shame. But see, she fired them. And she said she fired them because when they got there and seen he was messed up, regardless of if it was too late or not, they should have seen he was messed up and went right over there and worked on him instead of laughing and lollygagging with the rest of them assholes. That's why they the fuck out of there. And I feel that. But she said accountability start up at the top. You know what I'm saying? Though her officers and stuff didn't do the brutalize, because a lot of people are up in the air whether the EMT should have got fired or not. Though her officers were not up, you know, her officers weren't involved, or like the firefighters wasn't involved in the beating, they failed to render aid when they seen somebody was in need. So they definitely had to go. You know, her and Gina Sweat, Fire Chief Gina Sweat, and Celine Davis probably don't even get along because they said they got heated in there. Because you know the chief like, yo, don't put that on us. He was fucked up before we got there. You know what I'm saying? And you know Celine Davis, she gonna pass the buck. Guys, listen, leave me a comment, man. Tell me what you think about this 911 call the police made. You know, that's foul. They called the police for them, not for him. He just happened to be there. If they see him, they see him. Because they could have went up there and shined light and left. None of them cops would have been like, hey, wait a minute, what about him? Think about it. I'm Stock Market Steve. As always, like, comment, share, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next video. Take care.